Here we go. We are back on episode, what is this, 4 now? 4?
War.
Wow, that went really quick.
My kids were asking all week when it would be time to watch the next episode.
You guys are watching weekly, right? And then
Yes, and I saved until like Saturday or Sunday so that it's more fresh in my mind when we do the recording.
um yeah, so I don't know if I'm watching weekly. Am I watching weekly? I think I'll
Are
watch. Well, I mean, I'm watching the episode, but like I think it's been kind of like the last like 2 weeks I've watched episode 3 and 4 to, together.
you?
So like I'll watch episode like when before I watched episode 3 and 4, right? And then I'm like, we're recording episode 3. And then like last night I watched episode 4 and 5. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll watch episode 5 again right before we record. So that way I
Yeah,
watch it at least twice. So that way I know when I'm taking my notes, I can like, the second time around is when I usually take my notes. So that way
yeah,
I
you just
kind of.
not to slip any spoilers in
Oh,
there.
no, no, no. I'm only going off of my list here.
People in the Discord posting memes, and I'm like, "What? Zuko has worked in customer service? What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, keep watching." Like that's not. I don't get it yet.
I think that's. Yeah, that comes up maybe. I think. I don't know. It might be a while before that even happens.
Try my
um,
tea keeping forever, and it smells amazing, but I haven't tried it yet.
what tea do you got?
This is another one I dug out of the back of the cupboard. It's called Lemon Zinger, and that is all I know about it.
Lemon zinger. Hey, you got a different
Hmm.
mug this time.
I do. Check it.
Got it might be backwards. I think it's gonna be
Oh, no.
backwards.
No, it's not backwards.
No?
I
I'm
think
like
it's just backwards on your screen.
I think it is too. I'm just like carefully
Because it's
turning this so that way I don't spill my tea. And then it has the leaf of Lorien on there.
mellow. That's beautiful. I need nerdy mugs.
Comic
Now
Con.
that I'm drinking, get some.
Right. Um yeah, no, so the tea that I have this morning is just like a black honey tea, but I added some brown sugar and some cream as well.
Amazing.
What's
I
that?
need to do things like this is okay.
Yeah.
It's lemon. It is lemony. It does have a flavor, so that's nice.
This is like the traditional like English style tea.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of like people out there like tea enthusiasts who are like you shouldn't put milk in tea. You shouldn't do this. And I'm like I think it's like a situational thing. So for me, if I'm at like a Japanese tea house or a Chinese or whatever the style is, I'm going to drink the tea how they prepare it, right? Um
Right.
a traditional like English way of drinking tea in the morning is just black tea and you add some cream, you add a little bit of sugar, and that's just kind of the way that they drink it over there. And the reason I prepared it this way is because today is the 131st birthday of Tolkien. So,
Happy
uh,
birthday to Professor Tolkien.
kicking off the new year, January 3rd, 131 years ago, he was born. That's crazy. That's a long time. uh, what's that?
Very long time.
Yeah. Um, every year we do a kind of like a birthday toast at I think it's 9 p.m. So anywhere in the world, wherever you're at, your local time, 9 p.m., you can raise a glass to the professor and partake in this kind of Tolkien birthday celebration. Because Tolkien is a huge influence for me at least, and I know a huge influence for a lot of artists out there, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the creators of the Avatar world were somewhat inspired by his worlds and world building.
Most modern fantasy works are.
Hmm.
Tolkien was really the foundation for everything we know today as fantasy.
It's crazy to think about just how many series and shows and books and whatever have all been inspired by his works. We're talking like we're creeping up on the kind of 100-year mark where those worlds and stories began to first manifest. Um, so yeah, so that's why I was kind of like today I'm wearing my History of Middle Earth podcast founding member shirt. These guys are great if you want another podcast that is literally just lore about Middle Earth. um,
That's
yeah, so it's like another friend of mine who kind of created a podcast who is also part of the Unexpected podcast folks. Um, there's like a whole like group community going on. Um, so if you've never checked out an Unexpected podcast, you should definitely check out an Unexpected podcast. It's a book, chapter by chapter read, kind of like what we're doing here with Avatar. They start with the Fellowship and they go all the way through. I think they're all the way through all three books, and they've done The Hobbit and some. I think they were doing some Rings of Power show stuff right now, and then they're gonna about to dive into the Silmarillion. I think it's Silmarillion. Maybe it's Children of Hurin. One of those. But it's a great podcast. You should definitely go check out all those guys. And then also
I've
history.
random episodes of that, but I haven't listened to the whole thing in order.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah, Lane and Ez, they're great guys. Longtime supporters of Weird as well. So they were giving us little like commercial jingles and stuff in their episodes in the early days. It was great. um, but yeah, so we're kicking off the new year. We're back. We're my Christmas, New Year's, that whole thing just went by in like a blip. Like it was here and then it was gone and then we were snowed in. I think you got some snow, right?
we got ice. We got just a blanket of ice crystals.
Yeah. That's
Real snow.
it wasn't yeah, that's pretty much how it was here too. I mean, we um didn't really get that kind of like winter wonderland experience. In Oregon, depending on where you're at, like we don't ever really get snow too much.
Yeah,
So,
and the Cascades. We snow is a big event. It's
yeah,
a big deal.
yeah. You get one little like inch of snow on the ground and everybody forgets how to drive. So,
Oh, now sleds. You can't really sled on that much, but they try anyway.
yeah. You have to go to like Mount Hood if you want snow. Um but yeah, no, it was good. I can't remember if did we record after Christmas last time or was it
Day after
the
Christmas, we
day
did.
after? Okay, so we might have recapped this already. I'm just trying to process like where we're at. New Year's, it was kind of for me. It was just kind of I kind of came. I left work early, and then my car's headlights weren't working, so
Oh,
yeah, I was kind of stranded for a minute, and then I went to my dad's, and my dad was looking at this, and he's like a car mechanic, so he's always fixing things, and but we couldn't get the part right away until the next day because it was New Year's Eve when this happened, so everywhere's closed, right? Um, so ended up getting a buddy of mine to give me a lift home, and just kind of kept the dogs calm while everybody else was at work and making sure that the fireworks and stuff weren't freaking them out too much, but Um, yeah. How was your? What'd you guys do?
Well, for New Year's, absolutely nothing. I am an old lady, and I was in bed, I think, by 10:30.
Right.
But I got little kids, and no matter how late they go to bed, they never sleep any later in the morning. So I value my sleep. But during the week between Christmas and New Year's, we always do a viewing of the Lord of the Rings films. So
Excellent.
we,
Excellent.
but it's too much for my kids are still too young to like do it all in a day. We split it up, and 3 days, half the movie in the morning, half in the afternoon, and it was lovely.
That sounds like a great way to spend like New Year's and ringing in the New Year to me. Like, I do
Oh,
that on a frequent basis, just because, you know. um, yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to just dive right into our notes here? Like,
we sure can.
excellent, excellent. So we're going to be talking about episode 4. Do you remember what the episode name was? The Kyoshi
The Warriors of Kyoshi.
Warriors of Kyoshi. I was like, Kyoshi Island? Is that the name? I can't remember. Like, um, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you kick it off while I sip a little bit more of this tea so I don't spill it.
All right, I think we both took note of Zuko's meditation, and the candle flames would wax and wane with his breath, and that was super cool. Do we see anything else like that from other types of benders, like just communing with their element?
Yeah, yeah. I want to say that there's a few things that pop up, but I think like I mentioned in like the earlier episodes. One of them, I was just like, we're going back and we're watching these. You're watching it for the first time. I'm rewatching it for like the 10th point, but I'm noticing things that I never picked up on before because I have, um, I know the story and I know everything else that's happening on the main front here, so I can focus on a lot of the smaller little details like that. And in my notes here, I did write, as he's meditating, it's like the breath is going. As he's breathing, his flames are going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's almost like he's controlling the fire, but he's also controlling he's focusing on air. It's almost kind of like it might almost be like an air bending technique. He's not necessarily air bending, but he's using um using techniques, that's where you should draw from, and that's where you should do that. Kind of like how when Iroh was saying, um I think it was I think it was when he was about to duel. He was gonna duel uh this guy.
Yeah, the main guy. What's his name?
Let me look at this guy right here. Admiral Zhao. That's who it
Oh,
is. um oh god, I'm knocking. Oh, I caught that.
what did
Like
you almost?
I'm trying to reach up to my thing here, and my Stark themed ocarina came down with it because my finger hooked onto the onto the string.
Is that a functioning ocarina?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Like,
There you go. There you go.
it. I used to know like the no no. I'm not gonna be able to do that on the spot. I used to know like the fellowship, like the the fellowship. Do 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 do. And if I had the notes, this string is dangerous. This thing should just hang out up over here. I just want to put Zhao back up on his here.
I play the clarinet. I have a clarinet I could play for you.
Excellent. I also
I
have
mean,
Zuko. I got Zuko for my brother got me it for the holidays. So
oh,
got him
that's awesome.
I gotta decide if I want to take them out of the box or leave them in here, like in Toy Story 2, where they just stay in the box and they never come out of the box.
My
uh,
7-year-old has already told me that she wants to be Aang next Halloween.
Excellent. Heck
She
yeah.
wants to up in the paint and the whole shebang. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome. What was I saying before I almost killed myself with the ocarina?
You were talking about incorporating themes from the different elements.
That's what it was. Zhao. So when he was dueling Zhao, Iroh was kind of telling him to, you know, like, you know, brace your feet, brace, like, work on your stance. And I almost feel like that's kind of like an earthbender kind of like technique.
Yeah, he even said something about go cut him off at the root.
Yeah.
You go like over the legs, and that makes sense because these elements are all part of nature and they're all interconnected in nature. So it makes sense that there would be a bit of crossover, even with specialized benders.
Right. And I feel like Iroh is just the kind of guy that would be like, I'm going to go learn all of these different types of techniques, even though I'm not the Avatar and I'm a firebender. But I feel like it's important to know, even if I can't bend air, I can at least do some of the techniques, and it might help me out in my own personal fighting style or whatever. And I think we're starting to kind of see little kind of hints of Iroh inspiration here. Um,
So it's not a matter with the Avatar. It's not a matter of just he's the only one allowed to learn all four. Like Iroh would be physically, mentally, spiritually incapable of learning, say, airbending.
I think
Is that
so.
true?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything. I mean, it's not really like a spoiler because I haven't seen anything other than I think the app
Oh.
it says it in the intro, the master of all four elements. I think that's just because they're the only one that can do that. Um so I haven't seen any like firebenders are over here, earthbenders are over here, water earthbenders. Um what was it that so getting into like the second part of okay, so meditation. I did love the master of evasive maneuvering. Because it's true. Like he's an airbending master of like maneuvering and stuff, but in that context, they were literally just talking. He's like, "Oh, he must be doing some like pulling all the stops here and pulling all the tricks and like we're right there, we're almost catching him." But really, it's just Aang looking at like all the places on the Aang World Tour that he wants to go do over here.
Yep. Why did they agree to that? Don't they have more pressing concerns? Shouldn't Katara be like, yes, that does sound like fun, but shouldn't we do this
Shouldn't we
first?
be going here?
War and all, shouldn't we focus on this important?
Yeah, and I don't know if
Well,
maybe it's just on the way or if it's like
they are gradually working their way north, I
working their
suppose.
way north, but I Katara and Sokka have also never left the the water tribe.
Do
So
they? They do have a map.
they have
They do. I
they have Aang's map that that's
Cool.
all they're going off of, you know.
I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting.
Um so, there could be like to them, they're like, yeah, we should get there, but it's not like we have 14 days to get here and do this. Otherwise, the world's gonna get hit by a comet or something. Like there's
There's
no,
not a firm deadline. That's
there's
true.
not
Except
like like the world's not gonna just blow up, if they don't get there in time.
that they are being actively pursued by a very strong military.
This is
So
true,
they might, the beans have been spilled. Everybody knows that the Avatar is out there. So not everyone's going to give them as warm a welcome as
right?
this
As this,
tribe did.
um, but yeah, so like right off the bat, and then I kind of see it in your notes here too. Um, we're seeing some like the whole role reversals and Sokka gets his pants thrown right back at him right at the start. It's just
Well
like
deserved.
the gender role, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like biased or not biased, facing the word.
Yeah, or there's really entrenched in these
Yeah.
traditional women gender
Yeah.
roles. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a common thing in this episode, and I liked it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
liked that, Katara didn't put up with that bullshit, and Sokka got his ass handed to him immediately by these women.
Yeah, the Warriors of Kyoshi. So we kind of we get our first look at a Kyoshi Island. They're talking about Avatar Kyoshi. She lived. What did he say?
This is a woman avatar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She. What did he say? The guy said that she lived.
A couple thousand years ago, I think.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was
Hundreds.
a couple
It was a lot.
hundreds, like 2 centuries ago or something like that. So probably like a few hundred. Um. So it was a little. It was a while ago. And we're seeing like this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it like a military defense, but kind of like a,
You're like a volunteer militia almost.
yeah, exactly. To protect Kyoshi Island. And I just moved my notes around there. And yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the Warriors of Kyoshi. Like they're just like, they're straight up badass. Like they hop
Oh,
in, they, you know, there's like not really, they're like a true symbolism of like a warrior, like what a warrior should be, you know. They work as a team. They kind of jump right into the fight no matter what the cost. And especially these being women, they're, you know, flipping the roles. And I love like what you said, that they, Sokka just got like absolutely backslapped here, like right off the start. It's like, no, there is no place on Kyoshi Island for people like this, and this is how we run the show. And I think that's just awesome,
right.
um and we finally got the foaming mouth guy, like just absolutely. I was like, that is like the equivalent of like a true fanboy, just like losing his shit and just like, I don't know, like I want to know. I'm kind of like, I kind of want to look. What's that?
I want to know more about that guy.
Me too. Like I want to look it up and like look on Google or something and see if foaming mouth guy, like what were the creators like? Did they just want like an over exaggeration? Like I wonder if there's any like backstories to like, or maybe it's like the creator's like son who wanted a part or something,
That's amazing. If it's a real person, look what we did.
Like, yeah, I was an Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, what was your
You
part? Oh, I just screamed.
know.
um
He was funny.
I love that gif. I love using it all the time whenever anything is to be like over exaggerated and like flipping out,
Yeah,
um
or you had shown me that one, but I didn't get the context until now.
yeah, and there's not really, like, I'll post like, because I know you've never seen it, so like the gifs and stuff that I post, it'll only be like something like that where it's like you don't really like, there's not really any context needed for it,
Right.
or like there's no.
Events here.
Yeah, yeah. So just like the dumb gifs that have no meaning, to where like you could literally watch it in the show, or you could watch it in a GIF and be like, you have the same amount of context as like what you would have. um, we got like a, or did you have any notes that you wanted to throw out there?
I mean, mine are just in order as I was watching the episode. I'll
Same,
just
pretty much.
that running on water.
Mm.
That's pretty. It's a pretty sweet airbending trick. And again, it's a bit of crossover between the two elements, where the air and the water can interact this way.
Do you think he was waterbending and airbending at the same time?
It's possible because he's capable of that,
Yeah,
but he like his glowy eye thing. So I think it was pure airbending.
yeah.
That's what I think.
um, there was the phone game, but for some reason it was purely accurate. Did you ever play that game as like a kid or whatever, where you were
Oh
like
gosh, yeah.
you were in a classroom and you had like a sentence and you repeated it to the next person, and by the time it got to the very end person, they had to repeat it out loud.
And
Um,
it's completely strange.
it's completely different, but Zuko actually got the correct location. It could have been a completely different place, which would have been super beneficial to them. You know, if it were me and I was going to Kyoshi Island or wherever as Aang, or like these as Katara, I feel like Katara would probably come up with this plan. If it were
She
me,
three of them. She's the strategist.
yeah, I would put Sokka tries, but Katara is definitely
He's
the
not us more the muscle here.
yeah. But I would definitely be putting out false rumors if it were me. Like, I would be like, especially if they know that Zuko knows that, he's on the hunt for Aang, and
Which they do know. They know
they know
that.
that now, yeah. And so, like, if it were me, I'd be like, I'm over here doing this, talking to the
There's
local fisherman, or like, oh, thanks for this meal, or this tea, or this fish, or whatever that we're buying at this market. We're on our way to blah 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 over there, and then the next person, we're on our way to over here. Like, that's what I would be doing if I was being hunted. Just because
or
I
now
know
here's the
people
wild.
talk.
They like just put different clothes on Aang and tell him to like tone down the airbending for a while. We're trying to move around incognito.
Yeah, you should just get a beanie like I do. And then then you won't have the giant arrow on your head.
I'm writing that do a sketch of that.
What,
Aang
the
and
Aang with the beanie on? It's just a beanie with an arrow. Like,
completely defeating the purpose.
it has to go up though. It has to go that way. So
Oh,
it's a different one. They're like, oh, that's not me. Like, the arrow's going that way. um, yeah. And then I kind of mentioned it, and you mentioned it as well, but the Angie fan club.
odd. And it's all like little girls. They look like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Right. Well, if you remember, Aang is like 111, so there's not that big of a difference.
He's 12, okay?
112.
That 100 years does not count.
Do we know what the age difference is between Aang and Sokka and Katara?
To my knowledge, Sokka and Katara's ages have not yet been explicitly stated.
Yeah. I never really I
To
never really
guess,
looked it up.
say Katara's around 15,
Yeah.
and I would say Sokka's probably 17, 18. That would be my guess, my completely uneducated guess.
Yeah, I would say for Katara, I would definitely say like 14, 15, and then like 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there for Sokka. I feel like their age gap is not as far away as, like, well, I mean, when you're that young, the difference between a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old is huge, right?
Mm.
But a 3-year difference when between 30 and 33, or 28 and 31, like, or whatever, it's all there's no difference really at all. But yeah, the the Angie
Yeah,
fan club.
my note said, Angie, oh barf.
Oh, barf. Yeah, yeah. I figured like when I was watching that, I'm like, oh man, I know Steph's gonna love the Angie fan club here.
And he loved it too. He ate that shit up.
Yep. Don't let it go to your head.
12-year-old wouldn't, to
Right.
be fair. Yikes.
I mean, Harry didn't, right? Harry, I think Harry Potter's the only character that I think is like, because I mean, right, you're the Avatar, right? So like, you're already like super popular. Like everybody's gonna know who you are. You have expectations to live up to. Like you
The
have to.
savior. Huh?
The what?
The savior.
This like the savior, the classic like hero archetype. Archetype is that
Yeah,
archetype?
I
Archetype.
think it's archetype.
Archetype. I'm going with it. Um, uh, we went over like this in my when I was in college. I took a Greek and Roman mythology class, and we read the Iliad and the Odyssey and like all these heroes and like you know, and even in like Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth and Harry Potter and Chronicles of Narnia, like all of these creations, they all have their different, like there's the hero, the warrior, like you have to live up to these expectations and stuff like that. And so for like someone like Aang being like essentially like the chosen one or whatever, or Frodo the ring bearer, you know they're they have to, or I guess it would be, I guess Aragorn would be a better example.
Mm.
He has to live
Yeah,
up to.
he has destiny involved, whereas
Yeah,
Frodo volunteers.
right, yeah. um so for folks like that, I th- honestly, I think Aragorn and Harry Potter are probably the only characters that I can think of that don't let it go to their head too much, um whereas in this case it's a 12-year-old kid, so of course it's gonna it's gonna go to their head. But Harry was 12 and he was kind of like, this sucks, I'm famous because my parents died.
Yeah, exactly. His fame has a very traumatic origin,
Right.
which so does Aang's. He's
Hmm.
psychologically he's dealing with this very well.
Maybe that's why he's trying to distract himself by going to all these places, because
Uh, put off the realization of your
put off.
destiny, have to come to terms with everything that happened to get you there. That's a very good theory.
I think I'm gonna roll with that. I think that's why we're getting the Ang World Tour. I'm just gonna call it the Ang World Tour until we get where we're supposed to be. So,
Oh, another t-shirt. I'm writing that down.
World Tour. What?
Like a band tour t-shirt. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we should make a Cabbage Fellowship shirt, and it should be like the Ang World Tour or Avatar Team Avatar World Tour or something like that, and then we'll just make it like all the little points of like the dumb side notes of like where we're going here, and then maybe some of our notes and stuff that where we're like, you know
Oh, barf.
like Angie fan club on Kyoshi Island, and then where whatever else it is. What was it, the um flying, like the not they're not flying, but the lemur hangout on Southern Air Temple or like stuff like that. We'll create some fun things. I think that'd be fun. I like it.
That'd be fun.
Um, what else you got?
Oh, let's see. I liked when Aang and the Aang fan club were looking at the statue of Avatar Kyoshi and saying, "Yeah, that was me in a past life," and he very proud. and one of the little girls was like, "You were pretty," and it didn't phase Aang at all, and I really liked that. I mean, it's a recurring theme in the entire episode: the subversion of what would be considered traditional gender roles.
Right.
And he's proud to have been a woman in a past life. You were pretty, yeah, damn right I was pretty. He didn't say that, but that's kind of the vibe I got, and
Right.
it was really nice. That and when Sokka was made to wear the traditional fighting outfits of the Warriors of Kyoshi. And he whined about it for a little bit, but then he accepted it, and the world didn't end. Everything was fine.
Yeah. And
It was a turning point for him, I hope.
right.
When he came in and he knelt on the floor before them and he gave that very sincere apology, "I was wrong. Please show me how I can do better. I would love to learn from you." That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How many teenage boys have I ever known who would have the capacity to do that? Not many.
Right. So
Good on
so
him.
so we definitely see like with Zuko, and I mean we're already getting 4 episodes in, we're already getting character development, character evolution, is kind of happening, which, and it's like the small things like that you know kind of changes the course of how you see these characters. If you're not paying too close of attention to it and you're just watching the show all the way through, you might not catch how much all these characters are going through, and each one has their own different stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta. I think when I was like thinking about this, Sokka's always trying to be, uh, he's like, when he went in there, he's like, I'm the best warrior in my village, and he like,
Technically true.
it is definitely
They don't
true.
know what that means.
But I think he's always trying his best, and he's trying to, I think, also impress, um because he has to. It's kind of like, I mean, not quite in the same sense of like the hero role like we were talking about, but he has this pressure that he has to live up to this expectation to help keep his family safe, keep his tribe safe. And now he's traveling with Aang and his sister, and both of them are benders, and he's not a bender. So he is, uh essentially, Greece. Oh no. Are you still there? They have lost Steph.
What?
Nope, 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 nope. There it is. It's back. On OBS, you froze for a second, so you were just like staring. I was like, "Are you?
Sleep.
Is that just your listening face?" Like, like very intent. But there was no blinking. It was just there.
My listening face.
um, but yeah, so he's traveling with these two benders, and he doesn't have bending, so he has to rely on his fighting skills, really. Like that's what he's got, that and his like all of his jokes, but um but so I feel like he's trying to live up to the roles and trying to live up to the expectations that were kind of placed upon him, from a young age, growing up. And that's what we kind of see here, I think, on Kyoshi Island, is like, yes, he's getting smacked down and stuff, and, you know but I think, that turning point in this episode, he kind of realizes, like damn, like you guys are badass, like this is awesome. And when they're fighting, when another awesome point of the Warriors of Kyoshi, um they're like, uh the leader says, you guys go, we'll hold them off. And you know that's just another like hero thing to do, because I mean these are firebenders, like, and they know they're firebenders, and firebenders wiped out the entire like air nomad, so they're gonna go fight these people. They don't know, they've seen one ship come in, they don't know how many are showing up, they don't know who's on the ship, they don't know what it is, so um I think Sokka also kind of gets a little bit of, from that moment there for a second too. He kind of gets, some more inspiration and more, uh just kind of seeing this whole new side. And in my notes, I also pointed out that, um as he was training and doing all that stuff, and they're like, training time's over, let's go. Um he already picked up a little bit of the Kyoshi warrior fighting style. Um, when he deflects, I think it was the fire or whatever with the fan,
Yeah,
like, and just like, and like throws it out,
that's
and it's
cool.
like a blocking maneuver, like what Suki was saying. The uh, you know, think of it as like an extension of your arm, and that's what I mean. A lot of sword fighting, smiths and stuff. Boop, 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 boop. They'll say that as well. Like, think of the sword as like an extension of your arm. But same with the fan method, and he was like fighting in these. I don't know. Would you call them like kimonos in a way, like, or
War kimonos, they were cool.
yeah. Um. So think there'd be kind of, I don't know, robes, like, she gave the explanation of like the threads mean this and the gold thing means this, um but yeah, that's just kind of what I was feeling a little bit on Sokka, and kind of having his eyes opened up to, know oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't be like thinking the women should be doing all of this. uh
Okay. He has some growing yet to do because one of Sokka's final beats in the episode was him saying to Suki, I was treating you like a woman when I should have been treating you like a warrior. But he obviously still thinks of treating someone like a woman as treating them poorly. Women should be treated as inferior. So he's made some growth, but there's plenty of
I think
progress
he's
still.
still going. He's still going there. We got to remember they are still kids too. So having their eyes open to new things, especially growing up in a village where it's like, you're the man, you defend
Mm.
village, like, this is your job. I go to war now. Like, um
His
but
reply to Sokka was very good. She's like, I am a warrior, but I'm a girl too.
yeah.
I
and
like
I
her.
and I think that's going to, and then I think she kissed him, right? And then I think that's going to really, that point right there, I think, is really going to kind of steer Sokka on a new path.
Good. Because, the sexist jokes are already getting a little old.
Yeah. Well, I think they had to write it like that, so that way it comes across as, you know, when things do turn over in a more positive light, they have to throw, like, not the characters, but like the writers of the show and stuff, they have to put all of these like real world problems out there, so that way, it brings all of this up, so that way people are learning, and we're getting this insane character. It's kind of what they're aiming.
It was good. I liked having my daughters with me to watch that episode.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
yeah, look how awesome they are. It's
And
fun.
then they get Aowen, in your Lord of the Rings marathon.
Right.
So,
And right.
um, I also mentioned the air push-ups on my notes. He's just like, and it's just like up and down, up and down. I was just like, damn, that's pretty impressive. Like you can like balance push your whole body off the ground while you're doing that. Like, you know, that's crazy that to me. Um, what
Speaking
else?
of cool techniques, Katara using her waterbending to pull the water out of Aang's lungs was
Mm,
amazing.
yeah, I think that's in my opinion that would be like another step of like starting to not master but becoming more efficient with your waterbending.
And for
Um,
real, that's a very precise thing to do. You got to be super careful.
yeah, you don't want to pull all of the water out of their body.
Be a problem.
You said something about war rhinos.
Mm. The war rhinos, they almost reminded me of those things in Lord of the Rings that were pulling Grond to the gates of Minas Tirith.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
were really cool. They weren't full on rhinos, like they had lizard like feet and tails.
I don't know what they were called. Maybe
Rhino Komodo dragon type hybrid.
rhino dragons, rhino lizards.
They were very cool. Do like waterbenders and earthbenders, do they have their own specific mounts? Like local mounts that they ride on? Because the airbenders have the bison and
I don't
no,
know. I know the
they sh-
airbenders have the bison, and then earthbenders, but not all of them have. There's a couple of animals that show up, like in different regions or whatever, but not everyone gets that. Um, Maybe it's just like a little regional thing. Like this is where the sky bison live, so that we have them.
that's fair.
um, we got to look at the unagi, which means fish, or eel, eel, freshwater eel sushi. You eat
Yeah, I was
sushi?
about to say, I think I've seen that word on sushi menus.
Yeah, I think it's an eel. Um, which makes sense because that thing looked kind of like a big eel dragon thing that spits water.
I have the same issue with the unagi that I have with like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, et cetera, et cetera. These mega predators aren't going to waste their calories and energy on chasing after Aang.
Tiny
He's not.
little.
He wouldn't give that thing any kind. Why is it after him? It's just
I
territorial.
think wasn't it after the giant koi fish first though?
Yes, but later when it was Aang swimming all by himself, it still came after him.
Thing.
Mm-hmm.
They needed plot. Yeah.
For reasons of plot, this is what happened.
Maybe it's because Aang scared away their lunch,
And
and
it's
so
intelligent enough to grudge.
yeah,
That's off-putting.
it's an angry eel. um, but I think the giant koi is like part of its like meal, or like that's what they
Now
eat.
that is something worthy of being hunted by the unagi.
Giant goldfish.
That actual meal, yes.
um, do you have any other notes?
I think that's all my notes. Oh, except for Iroh pouting when Zuko took away the
The
food.
food. Yeah, he's
It was like, I was saving it for later.
yeah. he we almost every episode we get kind of more and more Uncle Iroh really just cares about like the simple luxuries in life, and he's just like
Yeah,
food and tea and meditation, and he's just like, yeah, I guess I'll go on this journey, but we need to make sure we have time for tea. And
that's right. I like him.
he's my favorite character. So um my other note was like Zuko's always losing them, always on the chase.
Poor guy.
It's
Yep.
like, it's like every episode he's like this close, he almost has the avatar, and then it's like Team Rocket with Pikachu. Like Zuko should just go hang out with Jesse and James in a giant balloon and just fly around trying to steal Pikachu and the Avatar at the same time. Oh my gosh, Aang's Pikachu is Momo. I just realized that. Like Ash has Pikachu, Aang has Momo. So see, they're like already a fitting duo here. We can easily tie Avatar to Pokemon. Uh, we're gonna get some. What's that?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, get some like, people would buy that. People would immediately buy some fan art if you did some fan art of Zuko and Team Rocket hanging out in a balloon, with his shaved head and his ponytail, trying to chase down, Aang with Pikachu and Ash and Momo. Like, like that whole little. I've seen so many cool fan arts at like Comic-Con of just Prince, and I bought Prince too, where they're like crossover mashups and stuff like that. Um,
I've got some
but
ideas.
yeah, there you
Of course,
go.
I have to draw Uncle T guy.
True.
It's on my. I haven't gotten back into work mode after the holidays.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's good that you're taking notes down. Like, hopefully, this podcast kind of throws out more ideas for art and stuff like that.
The problem is not having ideas. The problem is having way too many
Too many.
ideas
Oh,
and
I know
never.
that. I definitely know that feel.
But I
uh,
do like fan art and stuff inspired by this podcast and sell it on our little website. Y'all can buy cool merch.
we have some what is it? We have a shirt, I think, with the logo and the mug, or is it a mug? Is it just a mug and sticker? I can't remember.
Do I say we have a shirt?
I don't remember.
I need.
So the nice thing is you can just literally put that on, like, you can select mug and sticker and shirt. I might have selected shirt, and I might have selected. I think it was just those three. I thought it was those three things. I'll have to go look at the store. Anyways, if anybody's listening to this podcast or watching us on YouTube, we do have some sort of merch happening, starting up. It's
And
there will be more, and pretty much all the funds that we get from this podcast are gonna go into podcasting gear. We're gonna get Steph a microphone. That's
I
step
do. I
one.
need.
We're gonna get yeah, so it'll just be kind of, just going towards supporting artists and, supporting the show and getting, making everything sound great and uh, better visual stuff. At least that's the plan right now. We're still small. It's just kind of a cozy hangout thing. So um, we're on all sorts of different social media land of things. There's a link
Thanks,
tree.
Cara.
Yeah, thank you,
Shout
Kara.
out, Cara.
And always putting up the YouTube and the TikToks and the Instagram stories and all that kind of stuff. So we definitely appreciate it.
She captured my face, my expression, how it changed when I realized that your
The
mug.
manatee.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best thing ever. When I watched that, I was dying. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Steph hates puns. Okay.
uh, and it was just like the what was the song on there? What it was? It wasn't "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend," was it?
I don't remember.
I
I don't know.
literally, but that's what I immediately thought of. It's just like everything else around it just goes dark, and it just slowly zooms in over here.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
Careful what I make on this thing. Because she will definitely put it in a reel.
She might even clip the Frozen thing that I saw a second ago. It might be a thing.
My listening face.
Steph's
Oh
listening
no.
face. Yeah, we already have names for these things. Do we have any other notes for this episode?
I'm done. Got no more notes.
I think that's it for mine as well. I think that might be it. Boom. Yeah, so thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us. Next up, we will be going to episode 5, The King of Omashu.
Ooh.
Whose shoe? We don't know. I was like waiting for it. I was like, whose shoe? Where are we going? What is this? What are you the king of? So
Yeah.
I think we're still we have a king. One of these days I'll actually have this ready to go. But I think we only just established it like last time. We'll just read the little blurb for the next episode.
Yes.
So here we go. This is the little summary of next time on Avatar. Aang brings Katara and Sokka to the Earth Nation town of Omachi. The king puts Aang to a series of challenges to test his patience, focus, and wisdom. So,
For the heck of it, hey, you're the Avatar. Let
for
me
the
test
heck
you.
of it, let me just test you. Well, I mean, probably a lot of people aren't really believing, What's that?
That if I were king, I'd probably do shit like that too.
Yeah. Um, a lot of people aren't really believing that the Avatar is back or is here, or is alive still. So maybe he's trying to just test and like, are you really who you say you are, kind of thing. Could be.
That's
um, like always, we're on YouTube, Spotify, at some point Apple, Podbean. Working on getting ourselves out there into other platforms. Feel free to tell your friends if you're fans of Avatar. What's that?
we have an Instagram and a Twitter. We have a Discord where you can come hang out.
Come hang out in the Discord. It's in the Spring link. Is it Spring? Linktree. Linktree is the one I'm thinking of. There's so many different things. Spring, I think, is the store that we have set up for our merch.
Okay.
So the Linktree, we need to remember just Linktree. All the links. It has all the links. Like, we're going there.
Yeah.
What's that?
The tree of links.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Link from Zelda. It's all of our links. And so there you go. Yeah, it's
I just happen to have that right here.
It's not Link.
Not this guy.
It's knocking stuff over. Yoda, go back up. I swear, this is like the worst. Like, so this desk is great and all, but like I have the things I'm trying to grab are like behind things, like as like a more display, and all the smaller stuff's up front. So today we're just gonna throw things around and find out what other nerdy fandom can pop into our podcast.
A tour of your shelves at some point.
I could. The the webcam. I want to get the light. I gotta refix the lights and stuff. But yeah, maybe next time I can kind of take the thing and go like, wee. Because this is a big desk. It's like a wraparound, very old kind of ink style desk. Um, it just kind of came with the house, so it worked out.
Cool. Yeah.
But I've just been putting all of my nerdy things kind of everywhere. Avatar, Aang, art that
Mary.
glows in the dark.
Really? That's
It's one of the limited prints that this lady did, and she made one of hers. Yeah,
the moon letters that I stitched on this one. They glow in the dark.
it's cool. I can see them barely, but I can see them.
Yep.
Well, mine's not nearly as fancy and handmade as that one. Mine's just your average print. But I do have Isengard and Ent. Rainbow signed by Ronnie James Dio. Got up the new calendar for this year. It's all of like the Tolkien. I just took this one down. Tolkien calendars.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and like everyone is like just different art. Um, got so many, and like it's just a whole different scenes, like stuff from the Silmarillion, all sorts of. This one's Ted Natsmith.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, this one, the print that's on there right now is also hanging in the house in a big frame, and we've actually seen them at Comic Con. So that's cool.
Oh,
Seeing their
yeah.
art in the calendar, I was like, oh hey, like we recognize these people. Um, but yeah, so I think that's gonna probably be it for episode 4. We will see you guys all next week. As always, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening, telling your friends, sharing the podcast. The best way to kind of show support for what we're doing.
Yeah, hope you enjoy it.
See you guys.
Bye.
Should hold up my mug too.
Go. Cheers.
Cheers.